It's the Forever Knight-athon. We're recapping and reviewing every single episode of Season 1 of the 1990s Canadian police procedural about a vampire detective taking a bite at a crime. Just a quick content warning on this one. This episode deals heavily with the subject of addiction and includes some mention of sexual abuse. Uh-oh, it's two characters having sex in the cold open of a Forever Knight episode, and it's especially salacious sex, because the guy's like, this is sick. I don't want to do this anymore. You know what that means. One of them is about to get murdered. Let's flip a coin. It's the dude. Turns out both sex participants, the murdered one and the regular one, went to the same 12-step program. For the purposes of this episode, it's a 12-step program for just addiction in general rather than a specific addiction, as I feel like they normally are. I don't know if that's how that works, but it's a narrative device to explore the general concept of addiction quite poorly. And right away, they're laying it on thick with Skanky making a big fuss about how he needs a cigarette.
Can I bum a smoke, please? Thanks, I really appreciate it.
All right, here. Nasty, nasty habit.
I'm handling it.
That's what they all say.
Seriously, I'm just down to one a day, a pack a month tops, really.
Skanky exclusively smokes when the show wants to talk about addiction. This episode's going to present Nick's blood drinking as a poorly conceived analogy for addiction and then contrast that with the other characters' vices. And it does. It does do that. And it does not do a great job at that. I find this angle pretty poorly thought out. Making blood an addiction implies that a vampire could, in theory, just quit. I know it's not that easy. Like, quitting any addiction is very difficult. One of the most difficult things a person can do. But they do it. And since Nick doesn't quit blood, he's choosing to hurt and possibly kill people and choosing to remain a vampire, which, if we view this as an analogy for addiction, it does present an addict as a sort of moral failure, akin to being a murderer. Addiction can cause people to hurt others, certainly, but it's more self-destructive than other people destructive. Drinking blood doesn't seem to hurt vampires in any way. It only hurts other people. If anything, it makes the vampires much stronger. And that's not great. Don't love that as an analogy. Don't love the implication that, drinking will make you have superpowers. Since none of the people at the program are willing to speak to the cops, Nick goes undercover to investigate, but also finds himself genuinely being helped by the program and gradually overcoming his blood addiction, which brings him into conflict because he wants to solve the case, but he doesn't want to jeopardize all of his progress and backslide. Also, Skanky's a fucking enabler, because of course he is.
What would you say if I told you that I was an addict?
Yeah, right. You're perfectly all right, Nick. You're perfectly fine. Absolutely not. Trust me.
He even manages to achieve his lifelong dream of eating some French fries without even throwing up. That's huge. It's not easy, though. He goes through heavy withdrawal, having nightmares about LaCroix taunting him, waking up, sweating blood. And normally when he dreams about LaCroix, there's a different liquid that comes out of him. It's a real struggle for him, like giving up any addiction would be. Luckily, he's particularly motivated by his new sponsor, Monica, and do not adjust your screen. Yes, that is Carrie-Anne Moss. Cool. She was also the sponsor of the two guys who'd been recently murdered, so Nick originally chooses her to get close to the case, but she's actually really helpful as a sponsor.
I've never accepted help from anyone.
What? What are you talking about? Natalie's been helping you for 2 years, dude. What the hell? In fact, even in this episode, Natalie warns you not to get your hopes up for an easy solution, her first bit of genuinely good advice, and you don't listen to her. You put all your hopes on Monica to fix you. And then, of course, Monica has a relapse because it turns out Monica is a sex addict, and she tries to have sex with Nick, who feels betrayed and violated. As he should, right? She's his sponsor. She's taking advantage of him. For once, he doesn't want to have sex with the hot lady of the week because he needs her as a sponsor. And when he refuses her, she lashes out and tells him off and tells him that the whole idea of recovery is just a lie that addicts tell themselves.
I'm trying to recover, Monica.
Come on, Nick. Recovery is just the spaces between fixes.
And she's not really speaking to him in that moment. She's kind of justifying her own bad behavior, but still, this leads Nick into a huge relapse. Not only does he start drinking blood again, but he goes on a huge binge. The more blood he drinks, the more predatory and vampirically he starts to behave.
I'm revamping myself, Jeanette. From now on, I say I'm a vampire, and I'm proud of it.
Maybe you've had enough.
Eventually, he's so hopped up on blood, he's willing to kill again, and even Natalie can't get through to him. But it is cute that when Skanky sees Nick going through a hard time, he rethinks his behavior, learns, grows, and tells him he'll be there to support him.
Hey, Nick, whatever you're going through, I'm with you, buddy. Hang in there. And by the way, what I said earlier about the addiction stuff, I apologize. You're my partner, and I'll take you any way I can get you. Bye.
And that's actually sweet, I think. A rare W for Skanky. Eventually, he goes to confront Monica, but then he finds her looking vulnerable over a dead body, afraid that she'll be blamed for the murders. And seeing that kind of makes his human side wake up again. At the end of the day, Nick wants to help people, and as much as his demons get the better of him, he is trying to be better. He can't be the monster he once was, even if, in his darkest moments, he feels like it would be easier to be. And Monica, too. She apologizes to Nick for her earlier behavior. She's not a bad person. She didn't mean the horrible things she said, but her addiction, much like Nick's, got the better of her. She's neither the perfect, idealized person Nick originally made her out to be, and maybe needed, or the villain he came to see her as. Luckily, some might say conveniently, she's cleared of all charges because she's left-handed, and due to some forensic bullshit, the literal only information we have about the killer is that they have to be right-handed. And the killer was Monica's sister, by the way. Monica's sister did it. She kills the people in the program who sleep with Monica in a misguided attempt to protect her. She feels responsible for Monica's addiction, having been too young to prevent some sexual trauma in the past that she thinks caused it. Nick appeals to her better nature, knowing that she was just trying to protect her sister, and de-escalates the situation. This is not the type of crime you can solve by being a vampire. You gotta be a compassionate dude. He apologizes to Natalie and Skanky even decides to fully quit smoking. Good stuff, great. So how come Nick doesn't stay in the program then? He was making so much progress, and he learned that people are fallible and backsliding doesn't mean you've failed, so how come he doesn't ever keep with it? How come he doesn't go back? It kind of makes it seem like he's not entirely committed to recovery. I do like the idea that drinking more and more blood brings out the vampire within. That's a cool little internal conflict. He needs to drink some to survive and stay strong, but he also wants to drink as little as possible to keep his darkness at bay. That's great stuff. I don't know if it works as an analogy for addiction, though, because, he can't not do it, right? Like, if it is possible for him to quit blood entirely, we know he's not going to, because that'd wreck the premise of the show. So at the end of the day, we know he's going to keep drinking blood, right? So it also seems to be good for him. It makes him stronger and healthier, which is kind of the opposite of what addictions do. I get what they're going for. Addicts will always have to live with their addiction, but unlike a vampire, they don't have to act on that. And that's actually an important distinction because it's the only thing that makes living in recovery possible. People need to know that they're able to recover, or else why would you ever try? And just, it doesn't work. It feels cheap and unearned, and it kind of trivializes the subject matter a little bit because, this is all very silly, high-concept fun, and then you bring in this really heavy topic, and it doesn't seem like you're really willing to grapple with it all that much. They're going for something. I don't know if they got there. And I'd like to thank the people who will forever be my knights over at patreon.com/scaredycats. In particular, I'd like to thank Verbena, Cooper Holmes, Joe McClory, Liz Widow, Maston Ginger, James Garford, C.H. Phillips, Gideon, Charlotte Hollingsworth, Devin Kaler, Spooky Heather Sylvia, and definitely Todd. And I, Bobby Duke, the star of the channel, would like to thank the following people who's also the stars of the channel on account of their support on patreon.com/scaredycats. We got Jay Torney, Schadenfraulein, Lanston Teen, Rachel Rat, Kato Moore, Carpad, Josh Manez, Hyla Tracy, Louisa Prito, and Jesse. Well, can you believe the shenanigans Nick Knight and his pals got up to in this one? Hey, we're gonna keep going all January, baby. You wanna get these videos a day early? Go on over to Patreon. Oh, wait. You can just wait. I mean, how bad do you need it,